At ringside in Montreal, Jim Lampley along with Max Kellerman. Max, let's get ready now for Jean Pascal against Sergey Kovalev. Kovalev, regarded by many as the top man in the division. What's at stake here tonight?
Well, much like in the middleweight division, where the lineal champion, the man who beat the man, is Miguel Cotto, but he's ceded the designation as the man in the division to Triple G, literally without a fight. There's a similar dynamic in the light heavyweight division. Adonis Stevenson's the man who beat the man. He's the lineal champion. But that becomes academic if he refuses to get in the ring with Sergey Kovalev, who is destroying everyone in his path. He is fighting the best available opponent every time out and beating them up. And as a result, he's recognized as the best light heavyweight in the world. Pascal, a former lineal champion, is trying to take that designation from him tonight.
All right, among those Kovalev wins, his unanimous decision victory, sweeping every round with a knockdown against the great Bernard Hopkins back in November. It's our privilege to have Bernard working with us tonight. And by the way, not only did he fight Kovalev, he had 2 fights against Pascal. He had a fight against John David Jackson, who is Kovalev's trainer. He fought Roy Jones twice, who is the assistant trainer in Pascal's corner. So you ought to know everything here tonight. Let's start with the psychological confrontation. How does that work?
Well, it works very important, especially for Pascal, because he admires Roy Jones, and he takes lessons from Roy Jones. That's a big factor with a big opportunity tonight.
And what about Kovalev and the pressure that he applies throughout the fight?
Well, Pascal's going to have to deal with that, but Kovalev is going to come no matter what. He's dangerous. He's always looking for the knockout, and you know what? He normally gets it.
Does Kovalev make mistakes in there of which Pascal could conceivably take advantage, or did you not see that?
Yes, he makes mistakes, but Pascal's going to have to see it, he's going to have to execute it, and he's going to have to do it quickly.
All right, let's take a look now as the 2 fighters prepare to come into the ring at the tail of the tape. And you can see that Sergey Kovalev at 31 is 1 year younger than Jean Pascal. Functionally, both of these fighters are in their primes. A 1-inch height advantage for Kovalev. An arm length advantage of a 1/2 inch measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. Kovalev weighed in 3/4 of a pound shy of the light heavyweight limit. Jean Pascal was right on it. Tonight, Kovalev has rehydrated up to 189 and will have a functional 4-pound weight advantage according to our unofficial HBO scale as they come into the ring. Montreal native Jean Pascal is supported by a partisan crowd here in the Bell Center tonight. And it's one fan in particular who promises most of all to the utmost drive and inspiration provided to Jean Pascal.
I have a beautiful daughter. Her name is Angel, and she's 11. To be a father and to be a full-time boxer at the same time, it's not easy because I got the sole custody, so she's with me 24/7. But at least my family helped me a lot with that because they know that I'm very busy with my training schedule. So with my family, I can manage both at the same time. She will be at the fight. Of course, it's an extra motivation because I want her to be proud of her dad. I want her to be able to see he's the best in the world. I got the best daddy in the world. So of course, there's gonna be an extra motivation for me.
Historic Montreal, and for the past few years, Jean Pascal has seen himself as the #1 prize fighter here, the most popular guy in Montreal, despite the fact that there are some other star fighters here. Lucien Boutte, who Pascal beat in a matchup here last year. And, of course, Adonis Stevenson, the lineal light heavyweight champion of the world, who last year ducked possible meetings with both Sergey Kovalev and Bernard Hopkins, has been fighting lesser opposition. The winner of this fight would still love to get Stevenson in the ring. In fact, Pascal had a negotiation with him earlier this year before giving up in frustration and turning his attention to Kovalev instead. Here comes Pascal. And we hear the crowd support. It's a fascinating situation for Kovalev, Bernard. He's the top man in the division, but he chooses to come here to make the most possible money because of this big crowd and the support they'll provide to Pascal.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's what champions do. Champions go where they have to go to establish himself as the best guy in the division.
Kovalev has just the right personality, I think, for away games. But Pascal will certainly, we assume, be at an emotional peak tonight, Max.
Yes, and Pascal views Montreal as his town. The light heavyweight champion of the world in terms of lineage is Adonis Stevenson, but he's not the light heavyweight champion of Montreal. That's Jean Pascal. And don't think Kovalev doesn't make a statement to Adonis Stevenson by coming here to his backyard and fighting the guy that Stevenson doesn't want to fight, let alone fighting Kovalev.
He was an underdog here in 2010 when this kind of a crowd helped to lift him to the tremendous performance that ultimately won him the lineal light heavyweight championship in his fight with Chad Dawson. Ultimately, he lost that championship back to Bernard Hopkins when Hopkins took it from him in their second meeting here. Crowd is going wild for Pascal. In November, Sergey Kovalev comprehensively defeated ring legend Bernard Hopkins with a 12-round decision. We spoke with Kovalev about that career-defining bout, and yesterday the two combatants caught up with each other for the first time since that fight. Let's take a look.
Here we go.
Where you fighting, man? Where you fighting? Respect your champion. Good respect you, man. Okay? All right, hold it down, man. All right? Hold it down, brother.
And I'm very happy for last November. I was excited for the fight against a legend. I felt huge pressure and responsible inside me, behind me, everywhere around me, you know.
Down goes Hopkins on the first solid right hand that Kovalev threw. He has extraordinary power.
Maybe it's looked like easy, but it was not easy.
Kovalev hammering Bernard Hopkins as we get to the final bell.
I felt in my body, in my head, in my heart, yes, I did it. I got my goal in 2014. When I was a child, I watched Bernard Hopkins on TV.
Oh, my punch is like this.
I had dreams like maybe someday. Right now, I'm fighting on this stage, on this level. I'm very excited for my dreams, and dreams comes true.
Bernard, it was thrilling to watch the enormous degree of mutual respect between the two of you yesterday. Every expert made the same comment about his performance against you in Atlantic City, which was basically, okay, we knew he could punch. Now we know he can box. You agree?
Absolutely. He's very credible, and he's deserving of all his accolades that he received.
He's just been rampaging through the division, establishing himself as the man. The consensus is, if you want to prove that you're the best light heavyweight in the world, you have to go through Kovalev. And so far, no one's come close to doing it.
And for somebody who, prior to the Hopkins fight, had never been past the 8th round in his professional career, it had to be a tremendous confidence builder for him not only to win the fight and to go the distance, but also to fight his best round in the 12th.
Well, absolutely. He shows that he can go past 6, 7, 8 rounds, and he's effective.
Don Turner giving a hug to Kovalev in the Kovalev corner. And now both fighters are in the ring. Let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Mesdames et messieurs, du Centre-Bell Montréal, Québec, c'est l'événement principal, 12 rounds pour le championnat du monde. 12 rounds of boxing for the light heavyweight championship of the world. Presented by Videotron in association with Mise à Jour, promoted by Main Events and Interbox. Sponsorship by Coors Light, Kaja Sport, and Hortizia Vodka. Sanctioned by the Quebec Combat Sports Bureau Commissioner Michel Hamelin, the IBF, the WBA, the WBO, and for its diamond belt, the WBC. This fight is dedicated to the memory of Sam Simon and the 3 judges at ringside scoring this contest from the United Kingdom. Richard Davies from Hungary, Zoltan Enyedi And from Puerto Rico, Cesar Ramos. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, your referee, World Championship veteran from Puerto Rico, Luis Pabon. And now, the officials are ready. The fighters are in the ring, and they are ready. Mesdames et messieurs, êtes-vous prêts? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, dames et господа, mesdames et messieurs, let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the blue corner, the challenger wearing black, red, and white. He officially weighed in at 175 pounds. He's a 2004 Olympian, but now as a professional, has 29 victories, including 17 big wins by knockout, with 2 defeats, 1 draw, and 1 no contest. Originally from Port-au-Prince, Haiti, but now living, training, and fighting out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, the WBC Diamond Light Heavyweight Champion and former Ring Magazine IBO WBC Light Heavyweight Champion of the World, Pascal! And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red with silver, officially weighing in at 174 pounds. As a professional, he has 26 victories, including 23 wins by knockout without a loss, with 1 draw. Dame et господа, from Chelyabinsk, Russia, the reigning, defending, undefeated light heavyweight champion of the world, Sergey Kovalev.
Everybody's out.
Okay, guys, I give you instruction in the dressing room. They're having a clean match, okay? Good luck, God bless you.
Jim, what did Don Turner tell you about Kovalev's meanness the other day?
Don Turner said Sergey Kovalev's the meanest fighter I've ever known. He's meaner than Sonny Liston in the ring. He's meaner than Ray Robinson outside it.
And that's saying something. Pascal's got to hope that he's a bully and that when hit by a fighter in his prime who will fight back and has some pop, Kovalev will doubt himself.
Kovalev has shown no doubt in his professional career up to this point. Certainly in the run, which has made him the top dog in the division since he started the big knockout streak a couple of years ago here in the United States. And of course, went past 8 rounds for the first time, proving he can go the distance against Hopkins, fighting his best round in the 12th, a remarkable performance. Now Pascal, with this large and emotional crowd behind him, tries to lift his game and provide Kovalev with a worthy challenge. Referee Luis Pabon, the third man in the ring, has been doing some brilliant work recently, including his right-on-target stoppage of Gennady Golovkin against Martin Murray in Monte Carlo a few weeks ago. And now in the early going, Kovalev is the aggressor as he works to try to find Pascal with his jab. And there's the right hand.
And this is what I expected, Jim. Sergey to come out, throw the jab, trying to stalk Pascal. Pascal has to offset, at least try his best to offset early, which Sergey tries to do.
Pascal is an athletic fighter, some would say awkward. He throws from odd angles. He dances around, sometimes jumps around, moves his feet in unusual ways. He idolized Roy Jones as a youth and still has some Roy Jones wiggle in his game.
See on Pascal's trunks, black boa. as in the Black Balboa. He feels that he's going to need a kind of Rocky-type performance to beat the Russian.
Okay, stop.
Well, one thing about the Rocky movies, which I love about 4 of them out of 10 or 9, this is the real deal. This ain't the movies.
No, nobody throw.
If Kovalev had no particular personal feeling for Pascal prior to this week, he's decided after the news conference and the weigh-in that he doesn't like him all that much. Remains to be seen if you want to prick Kovalev's skin in that way. Pascal did, tipping his hat off of his head at the news conference and getting so close up in Kovalev's face that Kovalev felt constrained to have to push him away. The way he said it was, he violated my comfort zone.
Well, Pascal has a very good chin, and the question is if he can take Kovalev's punch and come back with his own offense, how does Kovalev respond?
Okay, nobody throw.
Round 1 is a scrap. With some grabbing, some holding, some wrestling, some lunging into each other. And Kovalev threatening Pascal with jabs and big right-hand shots.
Nice on the left. He's trying to get you to suck you into a punch. Take your time, relax, use that distance. Feint him every now, feint him, and then touch him. Listen, he's looking for that right hand, throw that left hook. Uppercut hook. He's looking for this. Give him that.
On lui donne pas un pouce. Okay? On lui donne. The referee give you a warning, you throw his ass around. You the boss for him, okay? Let him throw you around, you throw him. You the boss.
On lui donne pas un pouce, puis quand on
Don't give him an
on va
inch.
chercher rond.
Go get the round, don't give him an inch. Take a deep breath.
On explose.
Keep
Quand
it low
tu
and
le fais
explode.
venir en trappe, il faut que tu sois prêt à contre-attaquer les gens.
Make him come near you, and then attack.
Come on, champ.
Copy box numbers in round 1. Kovalev was 11 of 44. There is Angel, the daughter of Jean Pascal. And by the way, Pascal has a lively, fun, entertaining personality, and Angel dwarfs that. She is an absolute star who came into a fighter meeting with us a few years ago and took the room by storm with her enormous personality. Kovalev lands a right hand on the top of the head, and Pascal backs away. Pascal only threw 19 punches in the first round, landing 5, and that is in keeping with his game. Bernard Hopkins, he's a low-output fighter who does not throw a lot of punches.
Absolutely not, but the punches he throw, he do make them count, or try to make them count. But Sergey's getting that right hand. He's starting to test Pascal with that right hand. And you know what? That's going to be what he's going to be looking for. That is Sergey. Sergey's going to be trying to throw. Left hook by Pascal, but it's one punch. You need more than one punch to get the respect of Sergey.
So far, it's been a technical fight for Kovalev. You see him in the first round jabbing the chest very effectively. John David Jackson's instructions in the corner are technical. And in Pascal's corner, there's a sense that he's going to have a big emotional night in order to overcome Kovalev's technique. Roy Jones is telling him, be the boss. Don't let him throw you around.
Kovalev landing a hard right hand behind that jab. Pascal hesitated momentarily after Kovalev popped him right on the chin with the jab.
I think Kovalev hurt him.
Kovalev's already finding the distance, guys. He's not having any trouble getting his punches to Pascal, and that, to me, spells trouble for Pascal.
And he's making Pascal fight harder than he won. Max, you notice the right hand got his attention, Pascal's attention. And now Sergey is making sure that he put pressure on him and throwing that right hand to make Pascal fight as hard as he expected.
Spend that energy in the early rounds.
Sergey boloing the right hand to distract Pascal while he fires a jab. Jabbing to the body. As Max Kellerman pointed out earlier, those jabs to the chest are purposeful, and they are an excellent strategy for breaking down a fighter like Pascal.
And also driving that long right hand after the left jab. You know, it's like a fastball. He's throwing that right hand straight down, hitting the chest, the stomach, the body.
Pascal with a good body shot right on the belt line, and now Luis Pabon is going to tell him it was below the belt line, and he's got to keep him up.
Pascal could conceivably catch Kovalev with one of those big shots in those kind of awkward exchanges. He throws punches from angles that fighters aren't used to blocking.
And if he catches Sergey coming in, he can catch him with a right hand because, you know, Pascal has that herky-jerky type of style, and he's deceiving. He can launch off an overhand right or left hook, and it can catch you.
Bernard, given that Pascal is already tasting Kovalev's left jab and has already tasted the right hand a couple times, does he have the kind of chin which could hang in for 12 rounds against Sergey Kovalev?
Well, maybe now, but if he continues to get hit with that, it's going to loosen up, and he won't have that chin to go the distance.
Just like that. Yeah, top. Where's the rag at? Where's the rag at? Put the rag on next time. Good round, good round. See, all he's trying to do is throw some bullshit at you. So keep conscientious. Be smart. You're doing good.
Every rest, okay?
Yeah, every other rest here. Every other round. Okay. Good work. Nice and relaxed. Keep walking them down like you're doing. Nice, just like you're doing. Real good. Good work, baby. Good work. He's trying to throw wide punches at you. Wow.
What's up, Bernard?
He throws a right hand that is the crusher. He's throwing that right hand because Pascal's leaning in, he's coming off balance, and he throws the right hand, and it's there.
Jab numbers in the round two. Kovalev landed 9 out of 39. Pascal landed 4 out of 15. 9 jabs landed by Kovalev. That's a high number, particularly for a puncher like him.
How does Kovalev respond to real resistance? Pascal had moments in that second round where Kovalev had to taste leather. And it's always interesting to see how a fighter who hasn't encountered a lot of that in his career responds.
Crowd liked the right hand by Pascal, but it was partially blocked by Kovalev.
But the point that Pascal threw, right hand and just now the left hand, I mean, he's getting the crowd behind him. He needs that energy. Sergey better continue to put that right hand on Pascal to have Pascal kind of tentative to come in.
That's why that jab to the chest is so important. It establishes the distance, keeps the distance, and sets up that right hand from Kovalev.
Kovalev catching Pascal coming in with a right hand lead there. Now goes back to his 1-2. Body shot with the right hand by Kovalev. Pascal trying the left hook, just missing. Good right hand by Pascal. And the left hook got Kovalev a little bit off balance. Body shot by Pascal. Offensive stretch there for Jean.
You know, Pascal is going to his left. I think he's trying to launch off that overhand right that is kind of wide sometimes, but he's trying to find that mark. But he did not stay on that rope. He just threw that counter right hand. Another right hand.
Oh, Pascal's having some big success in this round.
Very good round for Pascal so far. And now he gets hammered by a left hook by Kovalev, and Pascal's in big trouble as he grabs Kovalev and holds on in the corner. Usually it's the right hand. That time it was the left hook that put Pascal in trouble.
You know, Sergey is so smart. He went right to the body with the stiff left jab that he started off with.
That's what John David Jackson wanted in the corner. He said he's looking for the right hand, so hit him with a left hook.
And a good recovery by Pascal, who managed to get back with a body shot after Kovalev landed the big thunder. Now Sergey trying to measure him for a right hand.
Pascal needs to put those hands up.
Left hook landed again inside for Kovalev. Pascal was a little off balance.
Pascal had to know coming in he was going to have to weather moments like this to win. And this is the scene of his greatest win, big upset against Chad Dawson. This would be bigger.
Now Pascal looks weary as we come down the stretch of the round. And Kovalev's trying to size him up for one last clean shot.
And he's hitting him straight with that left hand to the body. Here's Pascal again with those long right, left hands.
Big right hand. Pascal's over the rope. And that's going to be called a knockdown by Pabon as the rope held Pascal up. And there's the count. First time Pascal has ever been knocked down as a pro. Ropes kept him up. Great third round for a while for Pascal.
He was saved by the Belgian. That fight is over if Kovalev throws one more punch.
Wow. What a rally by Sergey Kovalev in the last minute of round 3.
Could barely get back to his corner.
Take a deep breath. Take it easy. Take a deep breath.
Jean, how do you feel? You sure?
Là, ça va bien.
Are you all right?
I'm great. Jean, tu moves beaucoup ta tête, side to
You're
side.
moving your
Tu
head
le
too
fais
much.
manquer beaucoup.
Too much side to
Mais on contre-attaque pas. Il faut qu'on soit en mesure.
Here it goes,
Tu le
here.
fais manquer à droite,
The
ça me
left,
prend la
the
main
right
droite.
hand.
Tu le
I
fais
need
manquer
your
à
right
gauche,
hand
ça
to
me
be
prend le
there.
crochet de gauche. Tu peux pas juste le faire manquer pour pas le faire payer. S'il manque, il...
Here we go.
Here we go here, the straight left. And then he tries to throw it right. I believe that got in halfway. Here it go. But it was the left and then another right hand down the pipe. And that was the punch that I thought maybe would have ended the fight.
Knocked him through the ropes, and you saw Pascal leaning on the ropes as his head went through. That's why referee Luis Pabon accurately and quickly moved in to call it a knockout and start the count, or knockdown and start the count. Now as this round begins, what kind of shape is Pascal in?
He's not in good shape, and this fight could be over right now if Pascal don't throw a punch. Sergey is dangerous at this moment.
Pascal's legs are shot. The minute was not enough for him to get them back.
Luis Pabon may have to make a tough decision here. Pascal doesn't want to go down.
Well, Pascal's not getting hit with really big shots. He's catching them on his glove, and he's trying to sink, but now he's getting hit up the middle. Pascal is waiting in the wing right now.
You do not want to be the target in a game of target practice for one of the biggest punchers in boxing.
And Pascal has a tremendous chin. I mean, Kovalev has knocked down and has on Queer Street a guy who can really take a punch.
11-year-old Angel Pascal has left the building as somebody in the Pascal group decided this was not something she should be watching at this moment. Great counter right hand by Pascal. But Kovalev's chin is pretty good too.
He's waiting to line up that right hand, and it's coming. Either down at the body or it's coming up top, and he's just waiting for the opportunity to let his hands go. That is Sergey.
The relaxation of a great destroyer in the middle of seeking the destruction of a high-quality opponent. Still a minute and a half to go in the round.
Pascal's showing a lot of heart here, Max. He could have took a knee, he could have bailed out, but he continued to still fight. And you know what? That's a champion heart.
He's waiting to get his legs back, where then he wants to load up and catch Kovalev coming in with something, but Kovalev hits so hard. Oh, there it is.
And a right hand by Pascal.
There it was.
Maybe he played a little possum.
He waited till he got his legs back, and Kovalev came in without fear of what was coming back and got hit with two really good shots.
And that comes from experience by Pascal. Pascal got experience to know now that it's his time. And he stayed there, he weathered the storm. Now it's his time to get his bone of flesh. And that's what he's doing now.
Lively fight brewing here in Montreal. If Pascal can make it out of this round and get some of his legs back between rounds 4 and 5. Kovalev has to be wary of these big counter shots that Pascal is throwing. And Pascal's gotten just enough of Kovalev's respect with those big counter shots to make it out of the round.
Tremendous job by Pascal in this round.
Competition in Montreal.
Take your time. No rush, okay? Pick your punches. Take your time. You got them where you want them, but don't waste shots, okay? Take your time. Go back downstairs to that body just a little bit for him. Because he's looking for one shot, hoping for one lucky shot. So move that head, but don't rush.
What are we looking at, Bernard? Here
Pascal's
comes the first
throwing it
right
right.
hand.
That's the first right hand because Kovalev is coming in without a jab, and he's paying for it. Here's the second right hand. Same thing, no jab, just walking in. And Pascal throws the lead right hand.
And may be aware that her father was rallying back with counter shots. Angel Pascal has come back into the arena. So Jean Pascal's 11-year-old daughter has enough confidence now to come back to ringside. Pascal made it through the 4th round, landing 7 out of 11 punches in the round. Kovalev was 16 out of 50. We go to round number 5. Kovalev looked disappointed between rounds that he had not been able to knock Pascal out. Let's see if there's a little letdown for the Russian crusher. John David Jackson stating the obvious. Relax, take your time, you got plenty of time. Kovalev's not accustomed to waiting.
Well, Pascal better not continue to wait on Sergey, because Sergey's waiting to launch that right hand right down the pipe by touching him to the body and then the right hand up top.
Yeah, trying to find out if Kovalev is indeed a bully who will fold if you take him into deep water and really hit him with stuff late. That's all well and good, and Pascal is trying his best to do that. But sometimes physics and biology takes over, and Kovalev's superior technique and punching power, you know, really hurt Pascal and have rendered most of his opponents unconscious.
Well, the right hand lands for Pascal, or excuse me, for Kovalev.
You know, Kovalev is throwing a good right hand, but he's being the same guy every round. I like to see him change up and throw that same right hand coming up as a hook, or, I mean, as a right hook, or either as a uppercut, a right uppercut after the jab to the body.
Or maybe go back to the left hook that was so effective in setting all this up. It was really when he began to throw left hooks and land them that he started to get Pascal in trouble.
This has been one hell of a light heavyweight fight so far.
Tremendous action in Montreal.
Kovalev getting nailed, and he feels those shots. They're rocking him back.
And he was going backward that time when he landed the right hand against Pascal, so it didn't land with the same force as has been the case before. Pascal is beginning to make a point with his big counter shots.
I mean, Kovalev hasn't been drunk the way he's gotten Pascal drunk, but his footing isn't always sure after taking those Pascal shots.
And Pascal's rallying back right now. He got the fans behind him. And you know what? Right now, he's winning this round. I believe he's doing enough to win this round, but not the fight. Exactly.
It's been a tremendous recovery from Jean Pascal, who looked to be gone in the 3rd round and had to work hard to make it through the 4th, and may actually be winning the 5th round now. Another hard counter shot with the left hand by Pascal, and he just misses with a right hand spear. Tremendous round for Jean Pascal, and the crowd welcomes him to the corner. April 18, we could see a Fight of the Year candidate. Hey, who knows, maybe this one is. When Lucas Petitse and Ruslan Provodnikov meet also that night, Terence Crawford moves up to 140 for the first time, taking on Tomas Delorme. Split-site doubleheader. 1 week later, live from Madison Square Garden, longtime heavyweight champ Vladimir Klitschko against Bryant Jennings in Klitschko's first title defense on American soil in 7 years.
You hurt him very bad with a body shot 2 times. Your body discipline is what did it for you. If you got body discipline, he can't hit you. You feel me? Keep that body discipline, all right? Whatever you do. Remember I told you the first round like the last?
CompuBox numbers for round 5 suggest that Bernard Hopkins was exactly right in saying that he thought Pascal was winning the round. Power shots, Kovalev landed only 5 out of 15, Pascal 12 out of 20. Kovalev, in seeking to knock Pascal out, has made himself too easy a target for Pascal's counter shots in the last round and a half.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's heating up right now. Of course, you know, the crusher, Sergey must continue to do what he did early in the fight, and that is use his jab and throw the right hand and try to get Pascal to jump in. But Pascal have overcame, you know, which almost was a knockout, and he has confidence, and he's going to fight back. He's going to fight back like a true champion.
you're right, Bernard. It's not just that he came back from a knockdown. He's essentially come back from a knockout to do this. He was done at the end of that round and saved by the bell.
And we just seen a straight right hand by Pascal. Oh! And another right hand, a counter right hand.
Tremendous right hand got by Pascal. And Kovalev is the one who has been hurt more often in the last 2 rounds. And once again, Pascal lands a right hand. We're getting to see what kind of a chin Kovalev has. And it may not be impregnable.
Pascal is a very sneaky power puncher that will get his opportunities and make things happen, you know, at the worst times, and that's what he do.
His rhythm, his off kind of rhythm, the odd kind of angles he throws from.
There's a red mark on Kovalev's left cheek, but also Pascal's right eye is beginning to swell and may close up as time goes on.
Pascal was lineal champion for a reason, and he's showing the heart of a champion tonight. And Kovalev's going to have to beat a champion, a former champion tonight to
remain
win this
the
fight.
champion.
Yep.
Another right hand counter shot by Pascal. And more now, he's becoming the aggressor in the fight.
And he got Sergey's attention. I mean, he really got his attention. A short right hand, Sergey coming in, you know, off-balance shot, but he got his attention.
Pascal landing the cleaner, harder punches here in rounds 5 and 6. Not something you expected to see after the way Kovalev was hammering him in rounds 3 and 4.
Pascal just rides those shots back just enough to have Kovalev miss by inches.
Where he avoid getting the leverage. You know, Sergey can't get the leverage right now with that right hand because of Pascal is pulling back, but he just got hit with a right hook. And that was something different that Sergey haven't been doing.
Right, he swept the right hand. He swept the right hand instead of throwing it straight down the pipe after he landed a series of hard jabs.
Well, in a division that hasn't had a lot of these kind of fights in recent years, this harkens back to the golden era of the 1980s. The way these two are throwing bombs at each other and coming back at each other.
Saad Muhammad against Dwight Muhammad Qawi.
Yaki
that
Lopez.
Kind of a fight.
That's right.
Or the Marvin Johnson.
That's right.
And Matthew Saad Muhammad. Pascal, I believe, did enough to win that round based on activity.
Maybe.
On demeure au centre du ring, mais à chaque fois que tu l'as ses talons, il faut le garder sur les talons.
Keep him on his heels at all times. Don't let him come back to you. Keep him on the outside. You understand me? When you're going for power shots, make sure you hit him. Touch the shoulders. Keep him at a safe distance, but hit him. You got to make contact.
Here's the counter right. Right here, the counter right. He waited, rolled with his left shoulder and came with the counter right. Perfect shot. Here, Sergey winding up, but he's going around with a right hook, which is rarely thrown from orthodox fighters. He's throwing a right hook.
And you see the right eye of Pascal there as it begins to swell. John looking just a little bit weary coming out of the corner. We go to the 7th of a scheduled 12. Harold, how do you have it halfway through?
Okay, Jim, I've got it 4 rounds to 2. 58-55, Sergey Kovalev. You know, Jim, I agree with everybody else in this place that Jean Pascal did enough to win rounds 5 and 6. I mean, he landed some haymaker right hands. Okay, to get back to what I was saying, he landed some terrific right hands, so I thought that he pulled out 2 rounds. I mean, that right hand to Pascal's absolutely could knock you out. It's amazing. I believe that Pascal leans down to the right to avoid Kovalev's right hand, and then he comes up with that wild right hand that does an awful lot of damage. 4-2, Kovalev.
Okay, Bernard Hopkins, what about what Kovalev did while Harold was giving his score when he leaned over on top of Pascal and forced him down along the ropes?
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's part of that wear tear, you know, pit pressure on his legs. Pascal's trying to not go down, and he's being pushed down. That takes some energy, especially at a time at the 7th round of a 12-round fight.
Luis Pabon giving the crusher a look that says don't hit him in the back of the head.
Pascal's doing some cute stuff in there too. Bernard, the highlight that you went over in between rounds, he deflected Kovalev's right hand with his own forearm and elbow and then countered.
Pascal has been doing that lately in a couple of rounds. He's letting Sergey throw that right hand so he can get that right counter in. And you know, he's effective when it works. But Sergey now is reserving that, and he's backing up and using that jab for distance and touching his body.
Here in round 7, it's Kovalev who's been more active, and he's landing more punches. Got hit with one counter shot from Pascal, but Pascal hasn't been as active. There's a good left hook to the body by Jean Pascal.
It's got to be discouraging for Kovalev to have essentially knocked out his opponent already and yet still get shaken up in round after round by that same opponent's big right hands.
But a puncher will always, Max, always try to get that punch in until the fight is over, either by knockout or by decision or stoppage, because he's a puncher. That got him where he's at right now.
Pascal's been missing instead of landing in this round. And you see that Kovalev, a little bit more conservative, has gone back to the jab. Now lands a left hook there after missing the right hand. Pascal looking just slightly weary here in the 7th. Hasn't been able to make as much purchase with those big counter shots as was the case in the 2 preceding rounds. And Kovalev got in a good left hook that backed Pascal up before the end of the round. Cinco de Mayo is a big day, both on the Mexican calendar and here at HBO. Tune in for the premiere of 24/7 Alvarez-Kirkland on May 5 as both men prepare for the big May 9 matchup. That's Canelo Alvarez versus James Kirkland, live right here on HBO from Minute Maid Park, the baseball stadium in Houston.
Deep breath for me. Just watch for the wild rushes. He can't hit you with good shots. He's trying to throw wild shots at you. Just be aware, okay? You're doing great work. Where's the towel at? Put the towel over his head for me. You got 2 guys working on that. You don't need that. Do a shot. Just small.
Here's Sergey, he's missing the left hook, but then he gets in close and he realizes that he's not in position to punch, so he leans on him. He leans on him wide to take his legs for the later rounds and put pressure on him.
CompuBox numbers through round 7. Kovalev is 113 out of 448. Pascal is 68 out of 196. When Pascal does well, it's because of accuracy, not because of volume. Kovalev slips on the paint in the center of the ring. You can tear a knee that way.
You can pull, hamstring, anything. Exactly.
Yes. Very dangerous.
I think Pascal was badly hurt by that left hand at the end of the last round. He stumbled back to his corner.
And he got hurt just now with 2 or 3 combination punches. And you know what? I'm going to pay attention to it because I think that really been effective, and it's still early in the fight. Well, the round.
But the black boa thing can seem like a gimmick, but I think that's the kind of mental condition and emotional preparation for this fight.
Well, right now I think it's going to be over because Sergey is throwing some multiple punches.
Down goes Kovalev, and it's not a knockdown. Luis Pabon says that was not a knockdown, it was a trip.
But it was while
happened at a moment when he seemed on the verge of knocking Pascal out.
But Pascal has weathered those moments because of the kind of fight he was prepared for.
Right now.
And Luis Pabon's going to stop it right away.
It's over.
When you land a flush right hand like that, and it's Sergey Kovalev who's doing the throwing, that's dangerous.
Real dangerous, and he has a reputation of being just that. Everybody's watching, so when he had Pascal like that hanging in the wind, it was a great stoppage.
I understand that point of view, and it's probably correct. I do think that Pascal, in this case, has shown a miraculous ability to come back from punishment, was complaining about the stoppage at the end, and maybe, just maybe deserved the benefit of the doubt there, but you're probably right. For his own health, it was a good stoppage.
Referee Luis Pabon made a really intelligent stoppage in Monte Carlo a couple of weeks ago. This one may be questioned in some quarters, but at the end of the day, he was protecting a fighter who had just gotten hit with a giant shot from one of the most dangerous punchers in boxing. Harold Letterman, your thoughts?
Jim, I thought the stoppage was excellent, but I gotta tell you something. I want to see this again. The fight was sensational, it really was. Jean Pascal fought his heart out, landed some killer right hands. Kovalev did what Kovalev does. I would love to see this again. I mean, it cries for a rematch.
Meanwhile, Adonis Superman Stevenson, the lineal champion of the light heavyweight division, has just come by here at ringside and is talking to Bernard Hopkins. Didn't know that Superman was here tonight, but he is.
And Jim assured me that, believe me, I will fight him.
Max, you heard it.
Yeah.
I said to him, Jim.
What did you say to Stevenson?
I said, listen, we are fighters. We need to make this happen. We need to unify this title. And I said, it's for boxing, it's for your legacy. And he said, Bernard, I'm going to make this happen. It's going to happen. Because you know what, Jim? People want to see the best fight the best, and that's what boxing has always been about.
Everybody wants to see Adonis Stevenson fight Sergey Kovalev. Let's hope that his pledge to Bernard Hopkins turns out to be true. Now let's take another look at the replay of the end of the fight. Here comes Kovalev as the action begins again after a brief stoppage following the slip in the far corner. And here's Kovalev landing the right hand flush on the chin of Pascal. And at that moment, referee Luis Pabon says, I've seen enough. And now let's go back an entire minute and take a look at the entire ending, going back further in the round. This was after Kovalev had slipped on the yellow portion in the center of the ring.
No pushing, no pushing.
And somehow, Bernard, it just seemed that Pascal's energy had dropped between rounds, and as he came back out, maybe hurt by the left hand at the end of the preceding round, he didn't have much going.
Well, you said it. You said it. He got hurt the last round. He didn't fully recover, and now it was just hanging in the wind, and he was pickings for Sergey.
So Kovalev landed two big right hands and the left hand, and then fell in Pascal's corner, which Pabon ruled was a slip, not a knockdown. And then Pascal looked wobbly as he went to the far corner, and you hear Pabon asking him, are you okay? And that's when Kovalev went after him, and then that second right hand was enough to convince Pabon.
Absolutely, he was defensive, and he was going to do nothing but take more punishment. And you know what? Who knew that? He's not in a position to defend himself and win the fight.
First knockout loss of Pascal's career. Another knockout for Kovalev, who has a tremendous record. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official particulars.
Mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, the contest is called to a halt. The official time, 1 minute, 3 seconds. Round number 8. The winner by TKO victory. And still, the undefeated light heavyweight champion of the world, Sergey Crusher Kovalev. A round of applause for this fighter who fought with heart and courage in the ring tonight from Montreal.
Final CompuBox numbers, and you can see that Kovalev's volume was far superior to that of Pascal. We expected that. Kovalev was the volume puncher in the fight, landing 54 more punches, throwing 271 more, so that his lower percentage didn't really mean all that much. Pascal got in some tremendous power shots, countering Kovalev's big stuff, but at the end of the day, Kovalev lands more power punches, even though Pascal landed at an impressive 41% rate with the big arcing punches that he was throwing. And Punch Zone will show you where the punches landed on Kovalev. 33 headshots, 35 body shots by Pascal. Obviously, body shots were a part of the game plan for Pascal, and he was landing them effectively. But Kovalev was coming at it. Landed the jab and the right cross and the left hook. All upstairs, 95 punches to the head of Pascal. Not many left hooks to the body, but right hands and jabs to the body. 27 total body punches. And now let's go to Max Kellerman in the ring.
Sergey, we've been waiting for someone to give you a good fight. That was a really good fight. Tell me about it.
I just thank you so much for compliment, but how I started I didn't like, but after 4th round I got control under Jean, and we saw what you saw, you know, like I just got him from the good right hand, and he lost mine.
Have you ever been in a fight like that, amateur, pro, in the gym? Have you ever been in a fight like that before?
Sure, it was a harder fight than this one.
Because we haven't seen it as a professional.
In amateur career.
You looked like you had him out at the end of the 4th round. You dropped him. He barely made it back to his corner. And then he came back and landed some big shots against you. Were you hurt at any point in the fight?
Yeah, he got me a couple good punches, but I didn't lose control. I took my mind in control in my mind, and like did my job. Just it's boxing. It's boxing.
Adonis Stevenson came to us ringside just now and said, "Believe me, I'm going to fight him." What do you think about a fight with Adonis Stevenson?
I'm ready for anyone.
What about a rematch with Jean Pascal, considering the type of fight he gave you tonight?
I'm ready for any fight. If my promoter said me fight, I need to fight with Jean Pascal again, like I'm ready.
Congratulations, really exciting performance. Thank you, Sergey Kovalev. Jean Pascal, you came in with black boa on your trunks, the black Balboa, and you fought that way. Tell me about this fight.
Honestly, I think that was a good fight for the fans. That was an action fight. I give my best. I don't want to take anything away from Kovalev. He's a great champion, but that stoppage, I think that was a bullshit stoppage because I was still in the fight. That was a tough fight for both of us, and I don't know why the referee just stopped the fight. That's boxing. That's not hockey.
You seemed to come into this fight prepared for this kind of fight, that you were going to have some rocky moments, so to speak, that you were going to have to come back from. You came back from those moments a couple times. Why do you think the ref stopped it when he did?
Honestly, I really don't know. You should ask him that question. I feel that he was waiting for that moment, but I was in the fight from day one, from the 1st round. I'm sure that I gave him his toughest fight, but like I said, we should do it again. I should have a rematch.
We've never seen you drop before he dropped you. We've never seen you stop before. Here is the stoppage. We can watch it right here.
Yeah, all right.
Tell me what you see.
But he was coming, he was throwing bombs, but this is the sport of boxing, to get some and give some. But I was still on the fight. I was not on the canvas. I wasn't crumbling, nothing. I was there. Look, I was watching, you know, I was watching his punches, and the referee just stopped the fight. I feel like the referee was waiting for that moment to just stop the fight.
What is a feeling for you like after it's been a long time since we've seen a light heavyweight scrap like this among elite fighters. What is the feeling to perform that way, even in a loss, in front of the hometown fans?
Listen, I'm a crowd pleaser. With bell, with no bell, I'm always gonna give the fans a great fight because I'm a warrior, I'm a true champion, I'm the people's champ, and I wanna thank you guys, all of you. Thanks for coming, thanks for HBO, thanks for all my fans around the world. I'll be back, don't worry.
Thank you, Jean. Jim?
All right, back to ringside with Bernard Hopkins. First, let's give you the official scorecards. The 3 judges all had it, 68-64 Kovalev at the moment of the stoppage. Not that surprising. It wasn't a terribly difficult fight to score based on what we saw. Now, it was our privilege all night to be working with the great Bernard Hopkins, who'd been in the ring with both men. And Bernard, let's talk about the good first. He's still the crusher. He threw the left jab with tremendous effectiveness. He threw the right hand and landed it when he needed to. He even showed a left hook, which was a little bit of a new wrinkle. Overall take on Kovalev's performance.
Absolutely, and he also threw a right hook a couple of times, and that's what started almost, early on the knockdown or the knockout, and then, of course, he ended with that. I mean, he deserved all the reputations and the accolades that he's receiving because he's proven it. He's fighting the best, he's destroying the best, and you know what? He just did it again with a credible and a most respected fighter, and that is Pascal.
Knockout victory for Kovalev against a guy who had never been knocked out before. On the other hand, he got hit with some big arcing counter shots, which may provide encouragement to future opponents, right?
Absolutely. I mean, light heavyweight division is alive and well. And I want to see the fight that means something to everyone. That is the unification between Adonis Stevenson and also the crusher.
And while
Sergey.
the crusher is a tremendous puncher who throws punches in bunches, Adonis may be the biggest one-shot puncher in the game, right?
Yeah, but you're going to need more than one shot to keep this guy off you because he comes, and he comes with bombs. And he's intelligent. He has foot movement. He has combinations. And we've seen a right hook from a light heavyweight. It goes to tell you that John David Jackson and himself, Sergey, is paying attention and getting better every fight. That's scary.
Can I tell you what a privilege it was to work with you tonight?
Always a privilege to be around you.
All right. It was great to have Bernard Hopkins with us tonight. Great for us to be in Montreal for this terrific prize fight between Kovalev and Pascal. Let's look at what's coming up next on HBO Sports. Tuesday, it's the next edition of The Fight Game. Join me for a first look at the May 2 pay-per-view matchup between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. April 18, 2 fights from 2 sites. From Verona, New York, it's an all-action matchup between Lucas Matisse and Ruslan Provodnikov. And from Arlington, Texas, Terrence Crawford against Tomas Dulorme. Then in May, the boxing world turns its attention to Mayweather versus Pacquiao, live on pay-per-view. You just can't miss it. Coming up next, it's a replay of real sports. See how being a Sherpa guide on Mount Everest is one of the most dangerous and thankless jobs in the world. So now for our entire crew, I'm Jim Lampley. Thanks for being with us for this edition of World Championship Boxing.
He's back. Canelo Alvarez returns to HBO in a highly anticipated super welterweight slugfest with James Kirkland on May 9th in Houston.
Kirkland es un peleador muy fuerte, es un peleador aguerrido que va siempre hacia el frente.
Canelo is going to be sharp. He's going to think that he's bringing everything to the table.
Está en juego una victoria o una derrota. Entonces, en este caso, vamos a tratar de salir con la victoria con la mano en alto y demostrar a la gente que Canelo está en vías de ser el mejor libra por libra.
Kirkland is a strong fighter. He punches like a mule.
He's gonna stop it right there.
It's a knockout. I predict it doesn't go 12 rounds.
Me voy a preparar para el mejor Kirkland y Dios dirá qué pasa en la pelea.
Houston, we got a problem on May the 9th because the beast is going to be loose.
This is going to be the fight of the year.